Dr. Bass, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here, yeah. This is exciting.
So first, let's talk about how you came to Memphis, how you ended up here.
It was actually graduate school that brought me to Memphis. In 2000, met my wife down at Hattiesburg, where Southern Miss is. We got married and moved to Memphis. Both went to grad school, all within a month. That's
crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing all those all at once. Space yourself out. But yeah, it was great. And I got here, and that's when I really got introduced to jazz and jazz guitar in a little bit different way. I stayed with Charlton Johnson, and then was both. It was a really great experience for me because I was both learning a lot about Memphis music and Memphis guitar players, but I was also around a lot of Memphis great guitar players. I mean, we had tons of students. Many of the students who were there at the same time as me are among the top pros around town now. We were all in school together, going and hanging out and listening to Calvin Newborn play, going out, listening to Gerard Harris, listening to, these really great guitar players, Teeny Hodges, who was still around. And that was really the first time I thought about sort of the past connecting to what I did, and Memphis seemed like a really natural place.
Absolutely. So when you first moved here, did you kind of notice any difference from Mississippi, like the scene?
I did. It was really interesting. One of the things that's fascinating is the tunes that I knew at Southern Miss. Even though I was a jazz major, I was learning standards, doing all the things. People up here knew really different tunes. Like I didn't know any of the tunes that people up here knew. So that was the first thing, is that people were calling tunes that I'd sort of heard on records, but it's like, oh. And the other thing was how, and I think this is an interesting thing about Memphis that people don't realize, how embracing of the avant-garde Memphis is.
Yep.
But people were really into it. People were playing, I remember going, one of the first jazz shows I saw, there was this great band at the Young Avenue Deli that used to do Sunday nights there. And my friend Chip Henderson was on guitar, but Chris Parker and Art Edmonston and Mark Franklin, just amazing, assortment of Memphis, Memphis musicians. I know at the time, but I went the first night and they were playing the most out stuff I've ever heard, and I was like, I'm somewhere different right now, and it was good because it was a great experience, but it was a wake-up call too. It's like, okay, there's whole other aspects to this that I can learn from, and that I think that's the real story about Memphis musicians, is this innovativeness or willingness to be different.
What were some of the songs where you were at the gig and they called it and you were just sort of, it was buried in your real book knowledge? What was one of the first ones?
Songs like Inner Urge, Joe Henderson tune. It's not a difficult tune, and it's actually these tunes that are designed to give people a lot of freedom. These not terribly complicated chord progressions, but they're really meant to be launching points. It's kind of like kind of blues, meant to be like launching points into some really different things. And like I never played Inner Urge. I'd never played Stablemates, which that's a pretty tough tune, and people people play it around here a lot. So that was another tune that was in the books here that I didn't know, and I had to sort of go back and get acquainted with. So they were playing tunes that I knew, but I didn't quite know in the way that they were playing, And so, like one maybe we play is one of the things that, if we just take that, is the two things, and like Memphis guitar or Memphis jazz, I know there's two things about it. One is that it was pretty avant-garde, and two, that it was in fact really bluesy, and the blues sort of in places that you don't expect it to be.
Yeah. Well, even like when you were sliding up, you were playing those fourth licks. You know, like even that has almost a bluesy character if you play it in the right way. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can play it from like, you know, coming back from. But in this band. Idea of, you know, not being afraid to play out a little bit, but also being able to bring it home, you know. Yeah. So when you get that in, you know, even in things like that. The other thing about Memphis is learning this sort of professional sensibility. I mean, people are in your pros, you know. I mean, you get that very quickly, and if you don't act like a pro, it's more than, you know, even more maybe than your necessary. You have to have requisite skill levels, of course. You know, everybody, you got to be able to exist on the bandstand at an adequate level. But beyond that, you know, you not only act like a pro, like, you know, don't do anything foolish, but when you're playing, you know, play professionally, you know, play within your role. One of the interesting things that has come up that I've had some success with, and I've gotten to where I really enjoy, is playing rhythm guitar. Yeah. You know, it's, you know, you know, I learned from the best. Charlton, you know, taught me all these voicings and all these things to do. But it's really fascinating because it's one of those it's one of those experiences where you'll be on a gig, you know, and your whole job is to play quarter notes for like 3 hours. You know, and you know, you go into it, so now I'm not going to get a solo tonight. I'm not going to get one solo. Like, everybody else is going to get solos in the band, but I'm the rhythm guitar player, so I'm not going to get a solo from that. You know, and that used to bug me, right? You know, it's like, man,
we're such divas already.
Well, yeah. So, you know, and like, watch what I can do. You know, and that's the professional thing. It's not watch what I can do, but watch how I can contribute to what's going on. You know. And, you know, when you just learn that, you know, I mean, and you learn these nuanced things to do, right? You know. And so, like I felt a lot of satisfaction because you're tapping your foot. To me, just playing quarter notes, right? Yeah. And that's the idea. You know, if you can get swinging, especially there'd be situations where there's not a drummer, and if people start dancing and you're doing that, it's like, oh, okay, this is not only cool and fun. You got to give yourself over to it. You got to say, okay, not singing a solo. That's off the table. With that off the table, this is really fun. I mean, you've heard me say it, right? I mean, I think I've earned more money in this town playing quarter notes than I have at anything else, you know. And it's just because it's one of those things that, you know, there's no substitute for a really good rhythm guitar player just chugging along on the bottom.
One thing that we've talked about at least a lot in lessons and stuff is being the snare, you know, being the drummer. Like you said, if there's a gig with no drummer, you know, it's all, to me at least, it's you know, left hand gets all the glory, but the right hand's sort of the workhorse. And,
right.
You know, that's the role that it sounds like you have to play a lot of the times. You know.
But yeah, the whole trick, and it's kind of what bass players do and drummers. The whole trick is not to stop. You know, because you can get away with your left hand missing a chord or something, but as soon as that stops, like you know, the whole thing's right, and everything lined up. I mean, and a lot of times in a band, you know, you just go. And it is in bass, snare, bass, snare, or fourth right, or the boom, 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 boom. All that lines up and grooves when you play it.
And so, if you could talk about the Curb Institute a little bit, I think that'd be great.
Sure.
Just about
Yeah.
quick overview.
Yeah. So the Curb Institute is a wonderful program we have at Rhodes. Mike Curb is a record executive. Yeah, is a record executive from Nashville who gave the college a gift, basically to learn more about Memphis and to get students involved with Memphis music. And it's cool. We do a lot of things from preservation, research, civic responsibility, leadership. But it really boils down to just connecting students with the music of this place while they come here. And it fits really well the mission of the college because you're from Virginia, so we recruit students from all over to Memphis, intentionally connecting them to this place. And music is a really natural and really deep, it's not just fun, but it's a really deep way to understand this city and cities in general and how liberal arts connects. But we do all kinds of projects. This house is one of the really amazing resources we have. Elvis's first house. I catch myself telling people what I do sometimes. It's like, well, we go to Elvis's first house and do projects. It didn't make sense. The house was great, and things were happening here, and it was fine. It was lovely. It was nice. But it wasn't until we really activated students in this space that it took off. And really, just looking over, looking here, looking on the wall. Yeah. When he was here, he was this 21-year-old guy who just got his first big break, and was making it really. Was really trying to make a difference in the world, and try to do something new. And that's the idea. It's just the story of young creativity, and that's a story that never goes away.
And so one question I have for you is with the Curb Institute. I think that's cool about Mike Curb, what he saw that too in Memphis.
Absolutely.
If you had all the money in the world, all the resources, what would your dream be for both the Curb Institute and sort of what the Curb Institute would be able to give back to the community? That's a big question.
That's a big question. Unlimited resources. I would, and whatever that means for the 21st century, I don't know what that means, but I would get the, get the industry back going again, and make this a place where, music activities happening, musicians are working on a high level, people are moving here to be musicians, and again, capturing this vibe that you're right is here, but just blowing the top off that, keeping the vibe, but just, expanding it and making it to where this really is, a place where people choose to come.
Absolutely. And anything for the Curb Institute, like any programs where you really feel like that's, man, I really want to do that?
Well, the main thing I've learned is that whatever my ideas are, is that they're going to be much, much better if I'm talking with other people about their ideas. If I'm talking with students, like everything that's happened with the Curb Institute is a result of being in direct conversation with students. It's not a dictated, well, this is our plan for doing this. Just like being a rhythm guitar player, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, it's not me out there, taking the solos or singing in the spotlight, but sitting in the back, sort of the engine that's making everything just sort of go along.
So would you like to sort of send us off with some Scotty Moore things?
Yeah, let's do.
We can get it off with That's Alright if we want. Yeah. That's just E, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
See ya.